Welcome back, guys, to the best stock and crypto podcast on YouTube. It's episode 9 now. And today we were able to grab the funniest guy on TikTok, Kenneth, and you guys probably know him as Tradeinvestsimplify. How we doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. I don't know. Funniest. That puts a lot of pressure on me.
No, we were actually just talking about it before you hopped on. Alex said that we were all looking at your TikToks because I was showing them your account. And Alex, you said that they were pretty funny too, right?
Yeah, I saw the one with all the kittens. I was like, man, that's pretty clever. Did that one get many views on that one or what?
No, I don't know what's been going on with TikTok lately in general, but my videos are getting like next to nothing with views. And I don't know if it's like the Stock Talk Crypto TikTok ban or whatever, because John, your videos are crushing it. So I don't
Dude, my last two, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was banned again today on live. I was charting and then I got taken down for harassment and bullying with Josh. Apparently we were being mean, even though we weren't. Like that hurts. Like when you get your lives banned, your engagement just gets shot. And I was unbanned for I think a week or like 3 different consecutive times where my TikToks were banned for lives. And then I went cold turkey, like not getting banned for about a month, and my engagement started picking up again. You saw my video last night. It has like 250,000 views, 1,000 comments, 700 shares. And then today I just got banned. I posted a video after and it has 3,000 views now. So I'm back at square one.
I don't think I've ever been banned, but I've had some of my crypto posts like flagged for community violations or whatever. But
I honestly think it's the ban on the crypto and everything, and it's just slowing down everything, especially for me. I'm kind of new to TikTok and everything, but my videos aren't popping up. I'm spending so much time like editing them and everything, and it's just been pretty hard.
This is a weird algorithm right now. I've noticed that you need to do like everything down to a T, and TikTok like so finicky. Like you can't mess up in the slightest. You have to keep like to a certain rhythm where it's like, oh, if you're making like just straight talking videos, you have to stick with that until it starts working again. Or like if you're doing like a different kind of content and never works anymore. Like you used to be able to transition between like types of content back even like a few months ago, but with like a recent update where we saw like live be like a very, very heavily pushed feature, now it's very difficult to like transition, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I've been trying to transition and do like a little bit more like a day in the life of a stock trader kind of videos. Like a lot of my videos recently, not a lot, but I've been doing a couple where it's food videos. Like I'm going out for dinner and I just like document the meal and whatever. Nothing, which you would think would do very well because it's food. Everyone likes food, but they just, I don't know if it's like because I'm in like the stock niche or whatever that mine just don't like the food. Like if you stray from your topic, I don't know.
Yeah, that's that, huh?
Yeah,
it's honestly been such a hit or miss. I've been doing research, like hashtags, even like you gotta like just trying to figure out the algorithm. But I know Caleb. I don't know if you've seen him on TikTok. Caleb Finance is your username, right, Caleb?
Well,
but Caleb D Finance. But you've been popping off, bro. He had like 5,000 followers a few weeks ago. Now you're at 11K.
11.1. Yeah. It's all about finding like the rhythm, and the rhythm for me now is 3 videos a week, so you don't need quantity anymore. You need quality, which I love. Thank God they're prioritizing that finally. But the quality needs to be like fitting the niche. So for me, every Sunday I post like this exact same kind of like stock watch list type video that has ridiculous engagement. And like I post every week. I know it's going to do well every single time. I can literally set it up, go, and just like know it's going to. The last 2 times I posted it, last week I got 130,000 views. The weekend before I got 80. And I collectively got like 3,000 followers from just those 2 videos alone. And then also last week, what I tried doing is utilizing like trends, like educational trends that have blown up. So when I did like, oh, my favorite books, or like, oh, this is how I like screen for a stock. It's like stuff that people are going to like engage on, and that people are going to like share or like save it themselves. But also something that I did last week that was kind of messed up. My followers might have realized it or not. I intentionally on my screening video switched the operators of greater than and less than, right? And so everyone in the comments is like, oh, you're so dumb. Like you have no clue you're doing with like the operators. Like obviously you want stocks of greater than 50% ROE. Why do you want like all this stuff? I'm like, yeah, I know. You fucking lost. I just won the game right there because you just comment on my video, increased my engagement, and as a result, it blew up.
So I've seen that too. I've done stuff like that where you like make a typo or you'll say something that is wrong just to get people like all riled up and pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the controversial stuff that blows up. I feel like. Yeah. We were talking. Me and John were talking about that too. We were just like, maybe we should just go on the controversial side of TikTok and just post strictly that, just to get people to comment on your videos. And it'll blow up.
Tesla's undervalued, and you'll always get a bunch of comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. But so like we've been doing this thing on the podcast where we ask our guests like an icebreaker question. I don't know if this is like, I could be completely wrong, but weren't you a wrestler, Kenneth, at some point of your life?
I never made it that far. I wanted to be.
Oh, you want? Okay, perfect. So what would your walk-up song be if you were a wrestler going into your match?
I know exactly what it would be. It would be Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
That is an amazing walk-up song. I love that.
Right? Yeah.
Any like reason why, or just because
it just sounds awesome? It just sounds really cool for like an entrance music. Sounds really good. Yeah.
So were you like wrestling in high school, and then you wanted to like? Was there any story behind that, or?
No. I'm like the most unathletic person you've ever met. I just really wanted to be a pro wrestler. And like everyone in my high school knew that I was a huge fan. Nobody really knew that I wanted to like go and do it. But like the theater people were like, you should join the theater team because you want to be a wrestler and theatrics and stuff. And I was like, no. And like the wrestling coach was like, if you want to be a wrestler, you got to join the wrestling team. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I just like tunnel vision wanted to be a pro wrestler. And it was like on the first day of school of like pro wrestling training school. So like, graduated high school. All my friends went to colleges wherever I went to pro wrestling training school. And on the first day, I got thrown over the top rope, which is like 8 feet, and I landed on the cement and I broke my back. So,
wow.
The end of that. Yeah. So I came home.
So you broke your back, and then you just got into stock investing, swing trading, stuff like that.
Yeah, over a period of like, I worked in the restaurant industry for many years. I wrote a book about it. I worked in the fitness industry. Like I just like bounced around like minimum wage jobs. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go to college just to go because I was like, seems like a waste of money to just pick like an English major or business major when I don't know what I want. And then like I was working at the gym for like 5 years or something, and I just knew I couldn't do it forever. And they were trying to get me to do corporate sales, like membership sales, and I would talk to them, and the membership guys, they were like so defeated all the time because it was just quota. You had to hit your quota. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And I liked the stock market, but I didn't know anything about it outside of like, I owned stock in Apple. So I taught myself while I was like, I knew I was leaving the gym, taught myself how to trade stocks. And that's what I've been doing for the last 11 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you started like teaching yourself like on your own, like I'm sure you were reading a lot of books, watching YouTubes. Is there one person that just sticks out in particular that really puts you on like the right roadmap to get where you are today with your trading success? And
I started in like 2011, so YouTube isn't like it is today. TikTok didn't even exist. Instagram, maybe it existed back then, but it wasn't like in the way it is today. So there wasn't like what like you're doing, what I'm doing, teaching people how to trade on the internet didn't really exist back then. I got 2 books. One was called like The Neatest Little Guide to Stock Market Investing, and the other was about swing and momentum trading. By this guy named Nicholas Darvis. So you might have heard, if you don't know, it's called the Darvis box theory. So basically his whole thing is momentum investing, right? Like buy high, sell higher, ride the short-term wave of momentum, and just capitalizing on these stocks that are going nuts. And he wrote it in 1950. And I was like, no way this stuff is going to hold up today. But it did. Because it's the same concept. It's just like momentum investing. It's just that he didn't have computers and we do. So that would be the guy. Nicholas Darvis was the guy for me, who his methods held up, and it's kind of still what I do now. But there wasn't anything like this when I started, and I really wish there was, because you can go from like a total beginner to somewhat experienced a lot quicker now, because you have all these people you can reach out to and go like, here's what I did. It didn't work. Can you show me how to do it better? And they can be like, yeah. So for me, it was a lot of trial and error. A lot.
Yeah. And like how I saw you, like you were saying how like now we have all of us on TikTok or whatever who's educating people, whether we have our own Discords or we're providing people our own like beginner's guide or bringing them to these YouTube people that we were looking up to like when we started. Yeah. The way I found you on TikTok was you were hitting my For You page a lot during January, during the Wall Street Bets times with AMC. Yeah. And we were talking, or we also had notes in the document as well. The reason why in like how you were successful with the AMC trading was because of your previous success with Kodak. Is that true?
Yeah.
With,
Kodak. I bought 100 shares a long time ago when there was like a rumor they were getting into crypto, and I bought it at like $11, and then it immediately tanked, and it would bounce in this trading range from like $2 to $2.30. And after a while, I was like, I can trade this. So I started trading Kodak, and then just out of nowhere, it shot up from like $1.98 to $3 in one day, which was like a huge move. But my experience, I was like, wait, like I think a new trader probably would have been like, whoa, I'm out, and just taken their big payday. But I was like, this doesn't add up. It's either going to be like a pump and dump or something's going on in the news. But when I was Googling it, there was nothing except for one tweet that got sent out by like an established like journalist, got posted and then immediately deleted. And I was like, I sold a little bit, and then I was like, I'm going to YOLO the rest and see what happens. And then over the next couple of days, it came out that like another tweet came out that Kodak was going to release some news that was going to change Kodak, the state in New York where they're based, or the town in New York where they're based, and America. And then that tweet got taken down, and I was like, what's going on? So I was like, I'm just going to hold this and see what happens. And then the following morning, or that evening after the markets closed, Trump came out and was like, this camera company is going to make our vaccine. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but I don't care. And the next morning, I woke up at like 6 or 7 in the morning. Like I never do. Like I'm like the stock trader who like market opens at 9:30. I wake up at 9:20, and that's just what I do. But I was like so pumped. I woke up, I was like pre-market. It was like $11. I sold a little bit. And then when the markets opened, it just ripped. And I just
didn't it run to like 27 like that day or something, or like 17?
It was higher than that.
It hit like 60 or something.
Yeah,
I mean, like, was that in one day though, or was that in like a time of like
in that one day? So the day prior, it hit like 11 pre-market when this like news came out that they were gonna make some sort of announcement the following morning. It shot up to like around 11. The following day, when the announcement had been made, it hit all the way to 60. But it kept getting like, it would get halted. Then the halt would get lifted. It would shoot up even more. And every time I was like, sooner or later, like it's like a ball. Like when you take a ball and you throw it, it's going to pick up speed for a while, and then it's going to like taper off and drop. So I knew at a certain point, I just didn't know when, it would reverse course. So every time it got halted and then the halt got lifted, I would sell a little bit more, all the way up to $60. And I had like 2,000 shares. So I did okay. And then, of course, I think it hit like 60, or maybe it got up to 70. I sold off a little bit. I was like, I'm just going to keep a little bit just for funsies and see what happens. But I kept like 100 shares. But, it immediately dumped like the next day or whatever.
When was that? Was that last year?
That was like the heat of the pandemic.
Yeah, like right at the
that one is.
It's like May or June.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That kind of sparked like. Sorry, go ahead, Caleb.
Until GME, that was like by far the craziest stock I've ever witnessed. I wasn't trading at all. Me and my buddy Zach, who were like, we got into options by the pandemic, but we've never like seen any of these like massive pump and dumps kind of before. We were just watching in awe as it got like halted, and every 16 minutes it would like move for like a second, and then it would get halted again. It was crazy.
It was nerve-wracking to watch in like real time, because you're like, this is your money, and this is like like once in a lifetime money. Like, this, like prior to GameStop, I've been trading for like people used to say like, what's your craziest or what's your best trade? Kodak, and it happened like on my 10th year of trading too. Like most of my trades are pretty boring. They're like $300, $600, $200, and then Kodak was up. It was nuts, but. You don't know what's going to happen when it's like it gets halted and then it gets lifted and it shoots up another $15. You're like, your stomach is going crazy. You're like, oh my God, what is going on right now?
Oh yeah, I have similar stories in that aspect when Nokia did that same exact thing. Not as drastic, of course, but Nokia did that same thing back in when was that, January or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, dude, if we think about it, like all you guys that are watching this from TikTok and like you just started getting into investing like these last 2 years, like after COVID hit and like we saw the March lows, you guys have been spoiled with these trades. Like we had Hertz, we had Kodak, we had Nikola. I remember running that from like $40 to $90.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like the entire Wall Street bets phase, like none of that was a thing like in like pre-pandemic or anything. Like it's crazy like what's happened with this market the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
I was saying that for like, I don't know, a year and a half now. Like every single retail investor that's got involved since the crash. So we'll say around August of last year is when people started slamming their stimulus checks into the stock market. Like if we saw anything move, say Apple drop 6% a day, that would have made literally headline news that night. And now we're seeing stocks go up and down 25, 30%. Nobody blinks an eye at it. They're just like, oh, that's cool. Like it's weird. It's really weird.
It's super weird. And it's not normal. Like people, like John was saying, people who are coming into this now are like, oh, this is what the stock market always is. I'm just going to crush it forever. And I'm like, dude, like if you make dumb money on something, please be smart with it. Because this is not the norm. And, I had a lot of like, I'm sure you did too, John, like people on TikTok who are like, no, this is the norm now. We run Wall Street. It's like, all right.
We are the king.
Yeah.
That's the scariest 4 words an investor can hear. This is the norm.
Yeah.
I think Warren Buffett said that one time. It's like when everyone thinks there's a new normal, that's when you know there's a top.
Yeah.
But I'm in the camp that says we're not on the top right now, to be fair.
Yeah, but
we're gonna melt up.
What are we not at the top of? Because like
all-time highs.
For everything, just like you're talking about, just in general, all the trading.
Oh no, I'm in the market. I mean, like,
that's
what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're not. I don't think we're at all-time highs yet. I think we have a lot to do, unless we go back to like what we said on the last podcast of like a black swan event, and unless something crazy happened, we're not pulling back hard at all. It's just gonna keep going.
Yeah, Kenneth, give me your thoughts on that. Like you're on TikTok, you see all these people talking about this Black Swan event coming up. Like there's a few names that you've probably seen on your For You page. Do you think that there's going to be any scare like for the next 6 to 12 months or until we raise interest rates about these as a whole? Or do you think we're going to see this cyber attack or this second like market shutdown, which is just going to cause like an influx of selling pressure into the market?
I don't think there's going to be another COVID related shutdown. I think we're kind of past that. I think we'll do like we were talking about earlier, like a vaccine passport or something. If you're not vaccinated, you can't come in and like that kind of stuff. But I don't think we're going to see unless like you said, there's some sort of like unprecedented, like unbelievable incident that happens, which could always happen, right? Like you always hear people go like, oh yeah, it's going to go up forever. And then something happens and they're like, well, who could have known? Well, like that's the thing. Like who could have known? Like that's why it's so important to always cut losses and like be smart with your investments because something can happen that you don't like. Come on, no one ever thought there was going to be this virus that did what it did, and like we reacted the way we did and shut everything down. Nobody knew that was going to happen. Like a month prior to it, everyone was like, "Oh, isn't everything wonderful?" And then this happens. So I don't think there will be anything. I think the next thing that's going to be a concern is the interest rates, but they keep pushing it off. So I think Josh said it. I don't think there's going to be anything I think we're going to keep going higher, especially now that they passed that infrastructure thing.
I wanted to talk about that today. What was that? A $1 trillion infrastructure bill that was passed. Now it just has to get
1.3.
1.3. Yeah. And that's going to go to the House. I'm sure that will be passed by the end of the week, correct?
I think it already did pass. Did it?
I think it passed today, right?
Yeah. I think it passed the Senate too.
It will definitely be passed by the time this podcast
all 50 Dems passed in, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it passed.
Yeah, so it passed the Senate, and now it has to go to the House to get passed or something like that. There's like a process.
Mm-hmm. The House.
And I think especially when we're trading all-time highs, just to put this to all of our listeners out there, this is the way I trade, and this is just my personal way I trade, is I treat, this is going to sound terrible, but I do treat the stock market on a day-to-day basis like a casino because you never know, right? You can't predict. There's no, I don't care how good you are at charting or whatnot. You can't predict those kind of events that are just going to make it drop, right?
Right.
So I treat it as a casino on a day-to-day, and I only invest money I can afford to lose. So if my retirement gets wiped out and all of my day trading money gets wiped out, I can still live on a day-to-day basis, and I can build my portfolio back up from $0 and make it back to where it is now. So I think that's a big, lesson for the new traders out there. If you can't afford to lose the money, don't invest with it.
Yeah. But I think we're seeing a lot of people do the exact opposite, right? Because they want to strike it big rich, like dumb rich, because they see some guy on TikTok who's like, I bought Kodak at 3 and sold it at 60. And like, I want to do that for every trade. And you end up getting people who are like buying GameStop at 470 or AMC at 70 or Dogecoin at 70. And
no, that's me. At Doge, I'm sitting on a shit ton of Doge at 70.
Yeah.
You bought at 70?
Yeah, dude, I bought 1 hour before that SNL was friggin' because I was like,
you bought for the
why would you do that, Josh?
I'm doing it now.
That was
the kind of guy that buys and swings for earnings, though. Like every earnings.
Dude,
That's the earnings of Dogecoin.
I'm gonna be broke tomorrow morning. Oh my god. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
But yeah, so I wanted to talk about the infrastructure bill though, because well, before we even get into that, tell our audience, we have about like 250 subs on here. Kenneth, what kind of like investor are you? I think you said that you were a swing trader, but if you want to talk a little bit more about your strategy with swing trading and like your long-term portfolio as well, you might as well go ahead and let everyone know.
Right on. So most of the stuff that I do is swing trading. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the book that I bought, it's called title sucks, but he wrote it in the 50s. It's called How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market, which in the 1950s is like a hell of a lot of money. But it's really just swing trading, like buy high, sell higher. Everyone talks about buy low, sell high. I buy high, sell higher. So when I see breakouts like on Bollinger Bands or really high volume gap ups, I jump in. Some of my trades are very short term, like scalps or day trades, but primarily I'm swing trading. So I'm in stuff for like, I just posted on TikTok today. One of my most recent trade, I bought it like 11 days ago. And it's just been like this, like sideways all day until today when it just popped. I don't know why. I don't really care. I hit my goal. I got out. And then of course it continued to run because that's what happens. But I got out and I made some money during the last like couple of years when the markets were like extremely volatile. I switched over mostly to day trading because like what Josh was talking about, I treated it like a casino. You don't know one day to the next what was going to happen over the last couple of years, and I just was like, I don't trust it. It's not like my analysis or my charting. It's just like the news is so nuts. The tweets were nuts. Like everything just made me like really like, if I'm in a trade and I have a profit, I'm out. So I didn't do a lot of swing trading because you could just get like obliterated. So I day traded a lot, which kind of worked in my favor. Like the last couple of years have been the best years that I've ever had. But that could also just be because of market volatility. And then as far as my investments go, like I'm in Apple, I'm in Facebook. Those are my two like big long-term things. I have Tesla. And then I just basically do the index fund thing. It's boring, but it works. And then if there's like a hot company, you know, that I'm like, ooh, this looks good, and I believe like long term, like the electric vehicles. That's why I like Tesla. You know, the electrical charging things. Then I'll make an investment in those.
So about Tesla real quick, they got an upgrade by Jefferies, I believe it was either today or yesterday. They got a $850 upgrade, and then with the stimulus package as well, this $1.3 trillion infrastructure bill, I think, or not stimulus, infrastructure. A part of that, what the money's going towards is this EV charging station. So are you looking at any swings for, or even day trades for Tesla or any EV stocks like in the near term?
I'm in a couple. I have Blink. And what was the other one? Plug. But those are mostly long-term for me, unless I like look at a chart and see like there's big promise here for something. No, I'm not really swing trading them. But you know, if I see something that looks promising, I'll jump in on a trade. Absolutely. I think in the last few days, as we were like nearing this bill was going to get passed, or maybe it was going to get passed, electric vehicle, like the charging stocks took off, and they've been doing very well. So that's what I'll be looking at. And as far as trading Tesla, yeah, Tesla's nuts. You know, it can have huge run-ups, which is great. You know, so I've got my long-term investment in Tesla, and if I look at a chart and see like it's about to run, and also I think Tesla, I just saw on YouTube today that they've got like a Model 2 is coming out, like their $20,000 hatchback.
Yeah, I heard about that. The small, it kind of looks like a smart car. I don't want to say that, but it's probably a little bit bigger than that. I haven't looked into it, but I have heard that they're in the works of creating like a $20,000 car.
Yeah,
I don't think do they have actual news on that yet, or is it just a rumor?
It's just rumors.
rumors. Well, usually those rumors are true, huh?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. Tesla it is.
With that,
Hey, Josh.
I'm sure Musk is like big
What-
behind like leaking the rumors, because he knows what he's doing.
Do you know what's in that infrastructure bill, John, regarding Tesla? Just them building more supercharge stations or what?
So I was like looking into it before the podcast. I think 550 billion go towards just like new federal spending, and then 65 billion dollars goes to like internet access. So that's what like the broadband, like reliable broadband technology with the 5G or whatever. Like they're gonna be adding that, and then I think 25 billion goes to airports, and then the rest of that, or just a portion of the rest, goes towards those EV charging stations. As we're seeing this transformation from EVs being on the road for people. I don't know how much money is going to be put into that, but it's less than $25 billion.
So where is this? I'm gonna have to look up that internet stuff you're talking about, because I'm pretty sure like at every street corner in Boston where there's a homeless person, they have an iPhone and they have service. So why are we pumping money of tax dollars into the internet service in this country?
Make it faster.
Make it faster, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the internet service provider to do that. The private label companies that are trying to grab customers.
Josh, you want to hear something crazy? Over the next 10 years, U.S. cellular data is going to increase 35% every year from 2020 to 2030.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Fucking real.
That is crazy. What does that have to do with our government? Is what I'm trying
But
to
if you
say.
think about it, the government funds like things like Boeing, like airports. And
there's also a lot of like there's also a lot of like underserved communities that don't have internet access, or like rural, like middle of nowhere Kentucky or whatever. Their internet service is just trash. And so especially for these kids who are like stuck at home now because of COVID, they don't have internet access. They can't afford it. And even if they could afford it, the infrastructure is not there. So in the big cities like Boston or DC, I don't think we'll see really anything. But in places like rural South Alabama and out west where there's nothing, they'll probably benefit hugely. And they'll need it because they're poor. They can't afford, 5G, whatever.
Yeah. So I guess I could just say, why didn't the government just force these, like Verizon with their $690 billion worth of revenue, to expand their network instead of just pocketing it?
Yeah.
I'm sure they are in a way, but
yeah, they spend $1 billion and then the government gives them $30 billion.
Nice trade, right?
Yeah.
I was reading, it was like in regards to infrastructure for the US, I think like over the last 5 years, we've only invested 0.36 or 37 of the US's GDP into infrastructure. China is like 5.4% of their GDP. So like we're very much so like behind like infrastructure spending. So like this was a big deal.
China, if you look at China's too, I guarantee half of it's roads. I'm dead serious. about that. I bet half of that's roads because they're expanding so much. They, like he said, with the 35% year after year, I think China's, there's something like 100% every year. That's more cars on the road, 100% more cars on the road every single year. Wow. It's absolutely insane. That's why like that whole, like, we'll go back to like the stocking with like NIO, like being the Chinese, it's like, ooh, that might be the Tesla of China over there, but we'll see what the government does with that.
Exactly. You know what's crazy with China too is the ghost cities. You guys heard of that before?
I have.
But China was growing so fast. I think it was like a few years ago when they really started popping up. China just started preemptively building these like massive cities, just like anticipating people to move into them, and it never happened. So they're like across the countryside, like more on the inland part of China. There's just a bunch of cities with like no one living there.
So there's a couple countries that did that too. Myanmar does that. Who else did it? Spain did that. Italy had it. There's been a few because like when the economic crash happened over there, they didn't have any money to actually put people in the cities. They were just like, oh crap.
Yeah, but they're crazy. You guys should check them out on Google. It's wild.
Jeez, I didn't even know about that.
They still have them? Are they still like?
Yeah, they're overgrown. The Chinese ones are like overgrown. I know that.
Looking up an image right now. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of these.
Are you able to visit them?
Because they're expanding so quickly, huh?
Were you able to visit them? Like, are you able to go there and go look and stuff?
I mean, probably not right now. But I mean, probably if you really want to.
Yeah, there's nothing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go see. Oh, it's
also the reason why they built them was a huge thing back to like they wanted to have this like massive economic boom, right? And so what's the way to do it? Well, how did we do it back in like the 30s with FDR and the Great New Deal? It was building like interstates and then building a lot of infrastructure. And that's how they had this like massive GDP growth. It wasn't like 8% at the peak of it, some like actually crazy number. But that's how they're doing it. They're doing infrastructure. And now they're seeing deflation in that sense of GDP. But
so as we're talking about China, Kenneth, are you invested into any Chinese tech companies, or are you a NEO or anything of that regard? Do you trust them?
No. I trade them. Like I have some calls for NEO because their earnings were today, so I was taking a little chance. And it looks like their earnings looked like it was okay, but the stock didn't move too much. And Alibaba, I have a little bit of that. That's pretty much it. And then I was in Luckin Coffee. I was trading that a lot, and then I got out, and then it tanked, and I was like, whoa! And then they had like that whole scandal with the fraud and stuff. So I was glad I think I took a pretty hefty loss on a little bit, but I wanted out.
Do you guys know about the Luckin Coffee story? Like how everything went down? So I did a project on this last year, and it's like super interesting. So the CEO of the company and like the management team itself owned like something like 20 to 50% of like the shares, like absolutely ridiculous amount of shares outstanding. They knew the fraud was going on. They knew like everything was fake, whatever. And they ended up just like leaving the company, and this random like financial officer, like there was like a VP that owned like less than 0.1% of the shares, ended up taking the entire fall, like the entirety of the fall. It was just like some random schmuck just got dumped with it, and now he's in jail in China, and like sucks to be him. And like the CEO is onto a new venture that was formerly the CEO fucking, which is crazy. But
Fall guy, jeez, that sucks. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I knew they said that they had like all these stores and they had all these sales, but that's the extent of what I knew.
Yeah, it's honestly the business model is really, really cool. I was a huge fan of it before the fraud, but the problem is that they were running out of runway. They had like so much capital, but they were doing all these like crazy, like stupid sales where it's like, oh, come and buy one coffee, you get 2 free. It's like, obviously that's not going to work. I was going to run out of runway at one point, and they couldn't outlay enough capital in the stock market or like even get enough investors to like keep that runway up. So at one point they just had to, so they had great financials though. I don't know why they even had to lie. It just didn't make sense to me.
And they were like essentially the Starbucks of China, right? That's what
they were the Starbucks. It wasn't even a competition. Like it wasn't even close. Like what's crazy is that they had 1/3 of the square footage. Their average store size is something like 700 to 900 square feet versus Starbucks, which is like 2,000, 3,000 square feet. So they were significantly smaller. It was like just order online, pick it up, and go. It was like there was not even a chair anywhere. It was just like wild. It was like a revolutionary concept that definitely would work nowadays, especially in China where these cities are super packed. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do in their future, unfortunately.
Jeez, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So Kenneth, I saw that you had a YouTube channel with like a decent amount of subscribers. Are you still posting content on there every day, or do you take a break, or what are you doing?
Actually, I just so this video that I posted today on TikTok about my trade, the 17% in 11 days. I put like a little like 1 minute video on TikTok, and then I do like a more in-depth walkthrough where I pull up the chart. I do what you do, like your charting stuff. And I'll post that today. I try to keep the YouTube videos. Like YouTube is so weird to me. Like when I first got into YouTube, they were like, your video has to be like an hour long or whatever, because you just like want people coming. So I was like, man, an hour. I felt like I was in high school, and they were like, your paper has to be 20 pages, and you could like you could write like 15, but then you were just like adding extra words to like stretch it out and shit. And then they were like, yeah, if you want your videos to do well, they got to be an hour. And I was like, that's stupid. And I started making them smaller. I started doing well. But the YouTube thing really just took off when my TikTok thing did, because of like GameStop and AMC and stuff. But yeah, I mostly what I do is just like repost my TikToks to YouTube.
Is it like the YouTube Shorts or whatever?
Yeah, I do the YouTube Shorts, and they've been very slow up until like the last 2 weeks. I've had a lot of videos that almost pulled in like 1,000 views, which is a lot on YouTube for me, at least. Most of my videos do like 60. Unless I do like a video on Tesla or Apple, then the videos go nuts. But otherwise, it's pretty slow. But yeah, most of it just reposting TikToks.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, we have this podcast channel, and then we're posting clips every single day on this channel, as well as it's being uploaded on Sunday. And then we have another YouTube channel where we're going to be working a lot on this year as well. So we're very new to this environment or ecosystem, whatever you want to call it. It sounds like you got in a while ago though. You said like that was probably dinosaur years ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, when they wanted these longer videos, because obviously with TikTok now, the new thing is getting out as quick as you can because people's attention spans are just minimal at this point. So
no, I started my YouTube page in like 2018. At the same time, like I was doing Instagram, which sucks. Instagram was like dead for me. Like at the end of a year on Instagram, I had 180 people following me. Like that was it. Like not even 200. And I was gonna quit. Like all the stuff I was doing on TikTok is like the same stuff I was doing on Instagram, but just like no one was watching it. And I was like, I quit. I'm done with like this whole teaching people how to trade thing because nobody's watching. I'm not getting any interactions, no followers. I had 50 followers on YouTube, under 200 on Instagram. And a friend of mine at the gym was like, get on TikTok. And I was like, no, TikTok is like for teenage girls, like lip syncing in the bedroom. That's creepy. And he's like, not anymore, dude. It's totally changed. And I got on. When I joined TikTok, I think there were like 3 people doing stock stuff on TikTok. And then it just, you know what it is now, like blew up.
Jeez, that's crazy.
That's crazy. When did you get on TikTok, out of curiosity?
A year ago in April. So 2019 to 2020. No, wait.
There was only 3 people doing stocks, like 3 big people back then?
Yeah, there was like nobody doing stocks on TikTok back then. My friend was like, there's like 3 people, you should be the 4th. And I was like, okay. And I didn't use the app. I didn't really know what it was. I just I went on and I started posting videos on TikTok. I must have joined in like 2019. It just took off. Like I got like almost 1,000 followers in my first week on TikTok. And I was like, is this a joke? Like, did someone, like, you can like buy followers. Did someone like buy me 1,000 followers just to mess with me? I just don't know it. Like, I'm like so excited. I'm like, who, like, is it real or is someone messing? Like, I kept waiting for my friend to be like, gotcha. But TikTok was nuts for a while. It's kind of slowed down now. But not for, like, some people it blows up and some people it slows down. I think their algorithm just doesn't make any sense. I think that's maybe by design.
It's really weird. I mean, what I love about TikTok and what sucks about TikTok is that it's not like it's like the antithesis of YouTube, I would say, where it's like YouTube, like you get a snowball rolling and it takes such a long time. But once you have that following, you're chilling. Like you're actually good. Like you're set. Like no, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to maintain it. You don't have to grow it, whatever. On TikTok, it's like, oh, anyone can become viral. It's like any single, it gives like democracy back to like the people on social media. It's really cool that way. But at the same time, once you get a big following, you slip up, you can lose everything again. So you got to keep on top of it.
Not to mention, I don't know, John, do you get a lot of those, like WhatsApp bot scammer things?
Dude, every single hour, bro. Like it used to be like once a day. Now it's every hour, dude. Yeah. And I changed my profile picture to like an NFT that I own, and like an hour, like literally like 2.5 hours after I like changed my profile picture, they changed their profile picture too, and they updated their bots, and like I just blocked them. I don't delete the comments anymore. Because there's so many. I'll be like either like working or like with my family, and I'll get on my phone and I just have like 100 new comments, and I'm not going through each single one and deleting it anymore. Like if you get scammed, I'm sorry, but like it's obviously not me. Like I don't have a WhatsApp, or like I'm not asking you for like your credit card number or like anything like that.
And your posts aren't like broken up with like a word, a period, a word, like like a letter period. Like who types like that? Like, come on, you guys. Like I had a couple people who follow me. Like a couple people who follow me are like much older, and they like write me and they're like, oh, I did you give me your number? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, I thought you were lonely or like you needed to talk, so I was gonna text you. And I was like, don't text that number.
They do that so it posts, because I think it like auto deletes it if they do the numbers close together like a normal person would. But I think they do those spaces and stuff because it posts actually. I've had experience with scamming, not me.
Alex a scumbag. You're like, I've scammed kids before. Like
you do the bot on all of our accounts.
But yeah, that's like a huge issue, not just on TikTok though, but I've seen like big YouTubers have well, not even like big YouTubers, just kind of like mediocre YouTubers have that same issue with those bots. The same thing with the WhatsApp thing. Yeah, it's a big issue.
It's a big issue, and you think like you're blowing up, and you get like all pumped up. You're like, oh, something's going viral, yes, and you go on, and it's just like 100 comments on your own thing, and you're like, damn it. Yeah, I delete them. Like I was saying to someone, I used to get like one a week, and now it's several a day. It's exhausting, and I don't know. Like, I feel like it should be easier for them to prevent this. Like, your user photo is being used on someone else's. There's got to be some sort of software that can be like, oh, same user photo. Maybe it's a coincidence. Like maybe I'm using a Mercedes car and you're using one, but like there should be some sort of like something to like be like, hold on, is this another account that already exists? I don't know how they would do it, but
yeah, I totally agree. At the same time, though, for me, I just got to 10,000 like literally a few days ago. So I just started receiving these bots. It feels like a rite of passage that I need to get the bots on my account before like, yeah.
You need the bots, and you need.
I was actually really excited when I got my first bot, and I was like, now I'm kind of over it. But like, I was really excited at first when I saw the Caleb BBB finance instead of just 2.
Yeah, you arrive twice. Like you arrive when you get tons of haters and trolls, and then you also arrive when you get the bots and scammers.
My question is, who's the guy on Fiverr that's just like giving out these jobs to people to like
yeah, right.
Like, there's got to be like demand for this. Like there's no like, why are people like? Are these just like sole proprietors just like trying to like mess with kids?
Yeah.
Or is it like a company that's just like getting like these people and like they're getting like referrals and stuff? Like I don't know. Like there's just so many of them now. Like it's crazy.
Do you follow that that guy Ziv, that finance over 40 guy? Do you follow him on TikTok?
I do not.
He had someone wrote that number, and it was like, hi, I'll manage your Bitcoin for you. Just give me your like ID and your ledger information or whatever. The guy sent it and was like, oh, thanks, Ziv, or whatever his name is, and sent it to the guy thinking it was this finance after 40, and had like a change of heart the next day and was like, you know what, I feel weird about this. I want my Bitcoin back. And went on his TikTok and was like, can you send me back my Bitcoin? And the guy was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, I texted it to you. You said you'd manage it for me. And he was like, that wasn't me. And the guy was like, yes, it was. It had your picture and everything. And he was like, that was a bot, dude. Like
dude, got him.
Yeah.
We get those in our Discord too. Not like that. I mean, I guess some of them, but they all have the same saying. Like it's the same line intro every single time. You just know that it's a scammer right off the bat.
Yeah.
Well, now we're talking about crypto. Are you investing in any crypto, Kenneth, or what are you doing for that?
Tons of crypto. I wasn't into crypto at all. I think a few years ago, I bought one Ethereum at like 400 and something bucks. Now, of course, I wish I bought like $1 million. And I bought some Litecoin. I don't know why. I think I opened the Coinbase account because that's what I opened first. And it was like Ethereum and Litecoin, and there were a few others. And I was like, I'm just going to buy these two. And then I kind of forgot about it until like really started blowing up over the last like year and a half or whatever. And then I've gotten pretty heavy into it. I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, VeChain, Matic, Dogecoin. Like I have a whole bunch of stuff. And they've all been doing really well this week. So, you know.
Nice. Well, you got VeChain, because I have VeChain too. That's like probably my 4th or 5th largest altcoin position, I think.
Yeah. For me too. Dogecoin is my biggest. Oh, no, that's not true. Shiba is my biggest. I bought some of that just for fun.
Oh, Shibu is, huh?
What's that?
Shibu, is your biggest holding?
Yeah, I got 45 million.
Jeez. Did you get in early? Like, are you like up a lot, or did you just buy this dip and you're just waiting for like the next bull cycle?
No, I just bought the dip. It was like $300. Like if I lose $300, whatever. It's kind of like an unbelievable amount, right? Like 45 million seems like it's so expensive. It was $300. So like I went on the app to do it, and it was like, how much would you like to buy? And I just was like, if I lose $300, whatever. And it was like, oh, $300 equals 45 million coins. And I was like, that sounds like a good number. Buy. And then I'm just like, I bought it at like whatever it is, 0.0006. Now it's whatever 8. I'm just gonna hold it. Who cares? Like if it runs, we'll see what happens. I don't have any expectations. And then VeChain I like for what they do with the ocean and the like, what's it called? Tracking something. I like.
Supply chain.
Supply chain. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, crypto's not my thing. I don't know too much about it. I'm still learning, but I like it.
Yeah, me and Alex were in Vegas, and we met this guy at we went to the Resort World Casino when they opened, and I forget his name, but he's like wicked bullish on Shiba Inu. He's like planning his retirement on it, and like he was showing us like what they're doing in China, and like there's no Shiba Inus for sale like in China as well. Like all those dogs are just like you can't buy one if you wanted to. He has all these different shirts and stuff. Like his kids are in it too. Like it was crazy. So maybe you'll wake up one morning in like 2023 and your Shiba Inu account will be worth a lot more than $300. But they're like working on their own wallet too in exchange, I think, for Shiba. So there's like something going on with that. So
yeah, I have no expectation.
44% today.
Oh yeah, Josh. Yeah, he's a cum rocket billionaire too. Well, not he can't sell it yet, but you can only sell like 2 or 3 BNB a day. But he got in cum rocket on Trust Wallet, and then they messed up his. I don't even know what happened, but they gave him like a stupid more amount of cum rocket than what he actually had. Yeah,
that's a lot of commas.
It's a lot of commas.
Yes, it is.
And he went on his boat, his cum rocket boat last weekend.
Boom.
What did you name it, Josh?
Nothing yet.
You bought a boat? Oh dang! Actually, I didn't know that.
Where do you live, Josh?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to go golfing.
I know. What the fuck, dude?
Dude, he wouldn't even go golfing with me, so I don't even want you to ask him that. That's messed up.
Dude, we went golfing. He went golfing last week and he passed out from the heat.
Oh, yeah, no, I actually did.
That's why I didn't want to go golfing. It's like 75 and cloudy in Mass. Like
perfect golfing weather. Perfect.
Because Alex wearing the Lulus. Got heat exhaustion from it.
Yeah, it's too tight.
Yeah, too tight. I don't think I wore Lulus though. I wish I did.
Are you guys heavily? Would you say you guys are more into stocks or more into crypto?
So
probably I'm more into. I can speak easily on that. I'm more into stocks. I just dabble with the crypto because I kind of like. I wanted to get in, and I'm just like, fuck it. I don't really screw around as much as I do with the stocks. Like I mostly day trade, and I have my long-term portfolio. Crypto is more like a little bit of like buying the bottom, selling the top kind of thing. But I generally just like let it sit. I'm like, dude, I'll check back in 10, 15 years, and if it's friggin' exploded, then awesome. If not, whatever.
You said that was your kids' funds, right?
Yeah, so essentially too. So my wife was like, "Oh, start a savings account, all this other bullshit." I'm like, "No, it's like every penny I put into crypto. Like when they turn 18, I'll fucking ask them if they want to take it out. So it could either be $1 in 18 years, or it could be 20 million. Who the fuck knows?"
That is so smart, Josh. That is like the best possible like college fund you can create for them.
Hey, and it doesn't even have to be college. I already got to think with my kids, like there's too much of a stigma around college and all that bullshit. So
they don't even have to go to college if they have $20 million.
Well, yeah, that, and I'm going to let them pick what they want to do with the money. I'm going to say, hey, you can buy, I'm going to suggest they buy real estate with it, but if they want to buy a car, they want to get married and buy their, fiance a ring, whatever. It's going to be their money. So I'm going to
mail-in bride.
Yeah, Russian mail order brides or grooms, whatever they choose.
Hey, 20 years from now, the world's going to be pretty different anyway.
Yeah.
20 years from now, they'll want like a flying car.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ! Tesla's going to be coming out with goddamn spaceships and submarines.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we probably beginning of or halfway through 2020, I would say that 90% of my investment portfolio was stocks and then 10% was crypto. Now it's about 60-40, but 60% is crypto. So I've because of this recent run up and this, dude, I've told you that. But so we saw Bitcoin top at around 64,000 and then we saw it pull back 65%. So I've just been cost averaging a lot of money only into crypto, not into equities, just because the opportunity cost. I'm just trying to cost average these positions now because I didn't have any crypto in 2017 or 2018 during that last bull market. And we're going to be seeing regulations soon. We're going to be seeing these Bitcoin ETFs come out, and there's just going to be a lot more adoption for crypto, I feel like, in the next 2 to 3 years and then decades after that. So I'm just being very heavy on my positions for crypto now, and I have a lot of money in stocks. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just think that there's better opportunity for my money in crypto. So.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of stuff on like the long-term benefit of crypto. It could be just totally wrong about this, but isn't like the Senate now and the House Democrats and whatnot talking about like exempting Ethereum and Bitcoin from capital gains? I'm pretty sure they are. I think that might have been actually in the infrastructure bill.
I think it was actually the reverse, that they're getting taxed pretty heavy.
No, there was a bunch that were for exempting them. I know this. That's why it started.
No, there was a bunch. Like Ted Cruz spoke out against this amendment that was added for no odd reason in this infrastructure bill. But now crypto is being taxed similar to that of stocks after this thing got passed, which sucks because it's kind of crippling an industry before it even grows.
Is that why everything's crashing right now then?
No, I mean, it didn't really affect it per se, because, like capital gains, stuff like that. So, if you sell it right now, you're going to have to pay for it. But, yeah, I don't know. I hope they change that. That is a huge thing in terms of the crypto scene that could kind of stunt the growth. Seriously stunt the growth.
Maddox up 18%, by the way.
Yeah, dude, we saw XRP at $1.04. I think it got as high as $1.07 before it's topped, but that was 25% in a day. Like you won't see that in the stock market unless you're playing a Wall Street Bets play. Like the volatility is another thing with these TikTokers. They see it in crypto, they think they'll see the same thing in the stock market, so they just think they cross correlate. But I mean, it's happening right now with what we've been seeing with all these different meme stocks, but it's not going to be like that in a few years when the volatility goes down and when everything's back to normal.
Yeah, well, it sucks is because there's more institution, as we talked about, with Bare Naked Crypto on one of our first podcasts. It's like more institutions getting involved with crypto now, and now it's flipped to more institution owns it than actual retailers, which is a little worrisome for the guys holding, the retail investors that are holding a lot of crypto, because what if they want to pull it back? What if they want to put Bitcoin to 15,000? You just never know.
Yeah. It's getting to the point where it's as heavily manipulated as the markets. Go ahead. Sorry.
Or does it show how early this industry is? That quickly it could transfer from 80-20 retail to 60-40 institutional.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's if institutions are now that heavily invested in it, they know that they're going to make money in it. Because institutions aren't going to go in it for the quick buck, because their bosses are saying, no, we're in it for the long term. We're in it for my grandkids' future when they take over the company. So, yeah, it does
depends on the institution. You could talk to JP Morgan about that and silver, but some are in for market manipulation. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really interesting because everyone I've talked to at these bigger firms is all skeptical of crypto. So when I heard that statistic from Bare Naked Crypto, that it's a lot more institutional investors now, regardless of how many retailers are in here, that's crazy. And I think the real catalyst, and I was thinking about it a lot because I was just like setting up retirement funds, stuff like that, because I started my first job in automatic allocations. Once you're able to set up the way these retirement funds the way you can for the stock market, where the stocks markets are always going to be perpetually going up because these retirement funds are dumping money into it on a DCA basis. Once we can set that up for crypto, beyond something like Grayscale, beyond a trust, that's once you can invest in these actual tangible coins, you can go into your Charles Schwab Roth IRA and pick out something on Coinbase, that's when this is going to explode. And until that point, I think everyone buying these coins is still early. There's still massive upside.
Totally. I completely agree.
I mean, dude, think about it. A lot of people think that we're going to see Bitcoin surpass gold's market cap. That's $10 trillion market cap. The entire crypto market right now is a $2 trillion market cap.
Dude, it's less than Apple. The entire market cap is less than a singular company. That's crazy.
That's wild.
What?
Put that into perspective. That's how early we are, in my opinion. And that's why I'm putting a stupid amount of money into crypto right now.
Yeah, I think this is not financial advice, but if I had some money to throw at something, I think I'd put it all into Cum Rocket right now. Just know that boat.
Take everybody's money.
No, but even my dad is really skeptical about crypto, Bitcoin in particular. But I think once people start understanding more of what it is and what it may become in the future, then that's when it's really going to start picking up some heat.
You know what? You have to say to people like that is people are really skeptical of the first airplane too, and look where we're at now.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, it looks exactly like the 2000 stock market bubble, because the bubble itself was perpetuated by internet companies. But the whole reason why it was a bubble is because most of these companies had nothing going behind them. And right now, we're in a very, very similar position where it's technology we don't necessarily understand in full concept. Yeah, obviously, the people are. But to the average investor, we don't really understand this stuff yet. And it's not really implemented yet. And a lot of these companies probably won't succeed in the end. But there are the Apples out there. There are the Microsofts. There are the Googles that are going to make generational wealth happen. Yeah. And so the bet's worth it. The bet is 100% worth it.
What do you think about it, Kenneth? You've heard from us now. We're pretty all into crypto. How about yourself?
I think I couldn't agree more. People they wanted it where it was like, this is for the people, it's for the little guy to make some money. They didn't want the big money coming in, but there's an element of big money coming in that lends credibility to it, right? Where you have all these people going like, I don't know what this digital money is, it sounds like a fad, it sounds stupid. Big money is not going to come into something that they think is stupid. They come into it where, like you said, where they know that they're going to be able, whether they manipulate it or whether they are actually believing in what this stuff does, there's going to be big money here long term. They're not day trading for crypto. I mean, they can drive it down. Like you said, they can dump their whole position, push it down, and then come in and swoop in and buy it at 28,000 or whatever. But they know there's big money here. And the more companies that you see, even if it's a gimmick, like Amazon might accept Bitcoin. I'm not spending my Bitcoin on Amazon ever, but I don't think Amazon's expecting you to either. It's publicity for crypto. The more people who go, oh, Amazon's taking it, oh, Tesla, oh, AMC, like all these companies that are saying we're going to start accepting it just lends more credibility to it. And I think Caleb's right that we're just at the very beginning. Who knows? And like a lot of these aren't going to exist anymore. But you kind of know that going in. If you have a big profit in something that's really high risk and stupid, take some of it and then YOLO the rest. But the majority, like I say to people who do stock trading, if you make dumb money on GameStop or AMC, take it and put it into something smart. Don't go and try to keep rolling it into more and more high risk stuff because you'll get wiped out. If you make dumb money on something or lucky money, go put it in something you believe in. If that's stock, maybe it's Apple or it's an index fund or whatever. If it's crypto, you make a lot of money on Dogecoin or Shiba or whatever, put it into something long term. Because a lot of the garbage isn't going to exist in 10 years. That's my
100%.
Yep.
And the main takeaway from crypto is don't just invest into something because you see it on TikTok or because your friends are getting into it. Understand its use case and make sure that whatever you're investing in has actual utility. Because like what Caleb was saying, there's so many of these crypto projects and there can only be so many of them that are going to play a role, whether it's this new banking system that they're trying to implement, blockchain technology with decentralization, like with the internet or whatever it is. Like if you're investing into something that you don't even know what it's doing, and if you just wake up and it's down 60%, that could be either a buying opportunity because the entire crypto market's selling off, they have that good use case, and you just don't understand that because you're down 60%, and then you are fearful and then you sell, or it's just hot garbage on a stick and you're just cost averaging into it, when in reality that crypto project's probably not going to be here in the next bull cycle. So just make sure that
Dogecoin. Yes.
Just make sure you do your research and understand what its purpose is and why it's in this ecosystem.
I'm pretty sure Dogecoin was invented to fuck me because I'm in it for 71.5 cents at its all-time high.
Yeah, dude, that was a bad investment. I'm invested in a quant, which I have a lot of belief in for the long term. And quant's currently at $156 for each quant.
Opportunity right now.
Damn it, John. We're supposed to be pumping Chainlink, not quant.
Chainlink's pumping today. It's up 10%.
But so Dogecoin's at what, 27 cents right now? Quant's at $156. It has a 14 million supply. If the equivalence of Dogecoin hitting 97 cents is the same as quant hitting $10,000. So just think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And quant has fundamentals behind
it. Not to mention, Dogecoin's literally an inflating asset. Like it has an unlimited supply, and it gets 5 billion new supply every single year. Like that's something you don't want to invest in. You want to invest in deflationary assets, not inflationary assets for crypto. But
what do you think about Ethereum deflating?
Yeah,
like it's not like necessarily deflating yet. It's been on the cusp a few times, but like as it gets more adopted, it will become deflationary.
I mean, dude, it's already burned over 25,000 Ethereum since the London fork on August 4th.
A week ago? Yeah.
So 7 days ago, whatever the math is, 7 days. Just had to make sure. Plus with the NFTs, bro, like every time someone buys one of these NFTs on the NFT marketplace for OpenSea or wherever they're buying it, that gas fee is just being burned essentially. So that's run on Ethereum on ERC. So it's crazy. Like
supply and demand, man, and you can see it in the price of Ethereum lately too. It's just going nutty.
We'll say, you say the supply and demand. So that one we were on our last podcast when it blew up, and I looked at harvest finance, and it blew up to like $400 something. I looked at the circulating supply is only 606,000.
Yeah, but what is it doing? Like
it's just going up.
Like, I mean, I'd have to read the white paper, but like, I have no, like, I've never heard of. Yeah.
No, I know what he meant, but it's like it's an Ethereum token that powers harvest finance, blah 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 blah. It's the same friggin' bullshit that half these other tokens on Coinbase say they do. Like, they run a protocol for Ethereum on the DeFi ecosystem. Like, it doesn't do anything, but it's like more like a collectible because there's only 606,000 and more get burned, so it's less and less supply. So that price just keeps going crazy.
Dude, like there's so many of these coins that are just ICOing on Coinbase, like Farm, for instance, or ICP. Like VeChain.
Talk shit about ICP.
VeChain hasn't ICO'd yet on Coinbase. HBAR hasn't ICO'd on Coinbase. I swear that these, like Farm, for instance, these are just the whales. Just like it's like they're pump and dump. Like a lot of people on TikTok have like their BSC network with like Elon Mars, like whatever those coins are, like Safe Moon, I guess, and then they're just putting these random ERC coins on Coinbase that have no use case, and Farm's up like 700% in the last 2 weeks, and it's probably going to be worth 0 in 2 years. Like I don't know how that can like possibly like pass on Coinbase. Like it just makes 0 sense. It's like just these whales just shoving money into it, and then they just FOMO retail into it, and these whales are just making a ton of money. It's crazy. Like it shouldn't be illegal.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
But we've been going for probably like an hour now. But I just want to ask one more question for you, Kenneth, and then we'll probably get off this podcast. If you have one stock to choose for the next 10 years, what do you have like the most conviction for? Not just like a blue chip like your Apple or Home Depot or whatever, but what stock in particular do you have in your mind that you think can see crazy growth in the next 10 years? Or industry. You don't have to give a specific company if you don't have one.
Well, I was going to say Apple because I think Apple is so far ahead of what, like, we can't even imagine what they're going to be coming out with, right? Like they're getting into like what we think, like, oh, their phones are slowing down, or the new iPhone isn't as cool as the last iPhone or whatever. Forget about the iPhones, man. Like they're going to be important, whatever. But Apple, they have stuff in the works that we probably couldn't even imagine 10 years or 20 years out. So Apple for me, and then outside, and I think they're going to be getting into the electric vehicle. So when you ask me what sector, I'm going electric vehicles. There's only 2% on the road right now. That's nothing. They want to, like, I think Biden said he wants to move like all government vehicles to electric. That's huge. That's a lot of vehicles. And like people are worried about like is it bad for the environment with all the electrical stuff? Like we were talking about with crypto and stuff, we're so at the very beginning of this that like everyone's like, oh, it's going to be bad for the environment in a different way. 20 years from now, it might be totally different. So electric vehicles, I got a lot of high hopes for. Charging stations. I think, by the way, I bet you Exxon and all these gas stations are trying to pivot into charging stations because they're not stupid. And as more and more people like you see now at your gas station, they have like one is like the ethanol corn thing. I bet you 10 years from now, we're going to be seeing some gas and some electric vehicle, and it's going to be fast. I don't think you're going to have this 2-hour charging. It's going to be swing in, a couple minutes later, your car is charged. That's what I think.
I see those. Actually,
I've never heard that. I've
actually seen a couple, not like Tesla branded, like the superchargers or anything, but just like the basic Well, I've seen a couple of them around. I haven't really thought about it like at everyone, but I see what you mean. That might be huge for these oil companies to get involved in the EV sector.
They're gonna have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
It's like BMW. BMW did like planes, right? They made airplanes before they made cars, and they were like, this plane's not there. Like you can either as a company you can like become extinct, or you can pivot, and you can be like, you know what, we're gonna be moving into this thing. Whether they want to or not, like they might try to slow it down. They might try to put in like what's it called when you have like lobbyists and stuff to like try to kill these electric bills. But there's also a part of them that knows that this is the future. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that.
You just betting on any of these battery companies? Like, what's your main play for EV? Are you gonna like? Do you have Chevron or do you have ExxonMobil thinking that they can get into it as well, or do you think there's just going to be like a monopoly on one of these companies?
I don't know, but I would imagine that some of them, like we were talking about, some of these companies won't exist in a couple of years. Some will get taken over. I wouldn't be surprised if a gas station like Exxon wants to buy a charge point or plug or Blink or something like that down the road. I have no idea if maybe they'll open their own charging thing, but I think a lot of these companies will end up merging or getting bought out by gas stations and big oil companies.
I totally agree with that, because honestly, I look at a lot of these like startups like Nikola and Workhorse and whatnot, and I think a lot of these companies in the EV sector that are newer companies have in the back of their mind that like they want to get bought out.
100%.
They're just trying to make that super fast hype money to like, hey, this is the next thing. We don't want to put a lot of effort into our product, but we want to put the idea there, the base for that product, and then we could make billions by someone buying us.
100%. I totally agree. I think a lot of these companies start off with the notion that they're going to sell, and they can't wait to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the whole Nikola thing, like behind Nikola, because they actually had an actual product. It wasn't a working product. It wasn't what they said it was, but because the Milton Bradley or whatever his name is going
Milton Bradley.
I don't know what his name is. Trevor Milton. I don't know.
Trevor Milton.
So, regardless, he's a prisoner. We don't care. So anyways, like he had a decent idea. He had a decent product. I think his whole main goal when he had GM looking at it was, hey, they're going to buy a stake in my company, and then we're just going to sell them the company. We're all going to become billionaires. And he's the fall guy that took it, for everybody. But I have a feeling that there's going to be a few of these companies that we probably all own shares in, that is just going to be eaten up by some bigger company pretty soon.
Absolutely.
I could definitely see Chevron picking up like ChargePoint, like you said, or even Blink.
Yeah.
Dude, I need to do some research on that, because Chevron's my favorite oil tanker. And
I like how you mentioned Apple, because that's like one of my top 3 picks as well. And it's almost like you listened to the last podcast when Caleb went, ape shit on me for Apple.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it yet,
Kenneth. Stipulation on Apple, man. It's if they lose their vertical integration, I'm not touching the stock.
No, I know. You were like,
case, game on. They're still the fucking best company in the world right now.
Yeah,
like,
you had your 50-50. You're like, if it does this, I'm still good with it. If it does this, no way.
Dude, that's like what Caleb said on last episode is like the equivalence of like Tom Brady in his prime being like, he has 5 Super Bowls. Like, he's not going to win this year. Like, I'm betting on like the Chiefs.
Yes.
It's like you cannot bet against Tom Brady.
Exactly.
I'm betting against Apple right now. I'm saying the opportunity cost isn't there if they lose the case.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I like that. What are your thoughts on since you picked Apple for your top stock, I guess, or your top growth, or you just see high potential in it? What do you think about Amazon?
I think they're gonna keep expanding like you can't believe, and it's funny that they got into the book, that's how they started, were books, and then they just destroyed bookstores, and now they're bringing back bookstores. It's like Amazon. There's an Amazon bookstore in Georgetown. I think they're gonna kill off every industry and then open it up again as an Amazon thing. They're gonna kill off the malls, and then there's gonna be an Amazon mall.
Ooh, that'd be genius, actually.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. How they have those grocery stores where you walk in, there's no employees. You just take something and then it just knows what you're getting, how much it is, with the cart. I think they're going to be doing the same thing with grocery. They have the grocery stores, but furniture stores, clothing stores are just going to land. They're Alex, they're partnered with Kohl's, right? They're like a sister company type of thing.
Yeah.
Like they might wipe out Kohl's and they might just be replaced with like an Amazon like clothing store, and then Kohl's gets money or gets some sort of profits from it.
Dude,
But I feel like their goal is just to get rid of as many cogs as possible, like less and less and less employees, and then it's just I don't know. Like the margins would just be insane.
Right.
They can pull that off because they have the technology.
There was like an Etsy mall. Isn't there like an Etsy mall somewhere? Anyone know?
Maybe there is. I have no idea. I haven't heard.
I remember hearing like they were letting like some of like the bigger creators come in like do a pop-up kind of thing. I think that's the way that Amazon's going to go. They're going to have a store in a mall, or they are going to be the mall, and it's also going to allow them to have like what's it called, where they have their warehouses closer to the mall, where they can see what's testing better in person, and then they can push out the products online. I think they've got stuff that also, like Apple, we're not even gonna believe what's coming from Amazon, because who could have ever thought, it was books, right? That was all Amazon was 15 years ago, and now they basically run the world, and they'll continue. Continue.
It's gonna get to the point where they have their own currency.
Oh, absolutely. And they're already flying dick-shaped spaceships to the moon. So.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What's from stopping them from friggin' taking over the world? Nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazon's gonna buy out Kohl's and use Kohl Cash as their currency.
Monopoly money.
Dude, everyone that doesn't like become an entrepreneur is just gonna be wearing like an Amazon vest and just like having those crucial working conditions, according to TikTok. Apparently, I'm not sure if you guys seen those videos. There's like a ton of memes about like how terribly they're like treated at work.
Alex knows this firsthand, being on the phone with me. Those assholes are lucky to be able to piss in bottles, because I had to go so bad the other day and I didn't have a bottle to go in. I almost burst my goddamn appendix.
That's a little extreme there, Josh. They get paid well, though. They get paid well over minimum wage.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but like it's like slave labor, dude. It's really messed up.
No, it's not, because nobody's forcing them to do it. They can just walk out.
I mean, okay, yeah, no one's forcing them. I had a few friends who did this last summer. They're working for like 12 hours every day in like these graveyard shifts, and it's just like grueling. It's like it's not worth it.
Whatever happened to the days like when I was, I don't know, I'm not going to date you, Kenneth. I have no idea how old you are, but you seem like an older gentleman. I'm 33. How old are you?
36.
Oh, okay.
You're not the oldest on the podcast anymore.
All right. Thank God. So I'm 33, and like even when I was growing up, like 12 hours, like I wanted to work 12 hours, and I was making friggin', and I living in Massachusetts, I was making $6.25 an hour. And I wanted to work 12 hours because I could hit overtime and make, a time and a half. And it's like nowadays people are getting paid $15, $16 an hour, and they don't want to work like, oh my God, they're going to work 12 hours.
Yeah, no, I was similar when I was in the restaurant industry. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked, but like restaurant industry, it's a lot of double shifts. And I wasn't a server. I was working in the kitchen. So I was making like $7 or $8 an hour. And I was like all about it because I was living at home. So I was just like pocketing unbelievable amount. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're working 12 hours a day, that shit adds up, especially if you're doing it like back to back. And that's the money that I used to trade stocks. So like, I'm grateful. I mean, I wish I had been paid a little bit more, but whatever. It gave me the opportunity. Plus also like living at home allowed me to save instead of spending all that money on rent or whatever. So I'm for it.
Yeah, you just made a good point there. There's a lot of people, again, like on social media that think they can just not work a job and make money in the stock market. Like exactly what you just said. Like you were investing in the stock market, you're swing trading, whatever, but that was because you had income coming in. Like you want to always have that income every single month, every single week. So you know that if you get into a bad situation, whether it's trading crypto or just day trading, swing trading, whatever it is, like you have money still coming in. You don't want to just put everything that you have and then not see money again after that.
Yeah, you always want stable, like with investing, you always want that stable income to be able to support your investing. And I think for most traders, it usually is, it's your job. Whatever extra money you have from your actual career, you put into investing. Now, some people, and like yourself, John, like you're an entrepreneur, you do a bunch of different stuff. So that's the kind of money you're putting into it. And that's like this more stable money. And then for 100% day traders, which I'm not, I work a day job. But for those 100% day traders, it's really risky because they are using their investment money as their stable income.
That's right. Yeah.
100%. Well, I think that's an episode, guys. Obviously, we're very humbled to have you on, Kenneth, and I'm happy that we can finally make it happen. I was telling you about it a while ago, and then I just hit you up like the other day, and I was like, "Yo, come on Wednesday," and you said, "Yeah."
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm glad to be on.
And we're gonna have his YouTube channel as well, and then we'll also have his TikTok below that. So if you guys are watching this, want to check out his stuff and see what he's doing, give him a follow on both. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. This was a lot of fun.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll get you back on again. We'll see how those Apple investments going.
Yeah, if you guys ever have a guest who like backs out last minute, I don't do anything. Like I'm cool to join whenever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good to hear.
I will peace.
So yeah, thank you.
Bye.